Good evening, everyone. Is it audible? So let me share the link with others so that they can join the class. Good evening. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Just yes. Okay. So the thing which I have decided for you is that we will finish the topic sequences and series altogether. After that, we will have a comprehensive session with the PYQs as well and the problem solving, obviously. So, as these topics are very much intermingled, like sequences, series, then convergence of improper integral, then uniform convergence. So, my plan is to finish all these four chapters in one go, right? So conceptual building we have been doing, and it is done for sequences as already. Today we are gonna do for the infinite series. Although it may look very heavy topic, uh, but if you prepare this in a right way, and here is a guide, if I am able to put the summary of the chapter or the way to prepare this chapter in the right way, you will get the idea कि यार this topic, this particular chapter seems very bulky, but it is very much sorted. So for that you need to have next 30-40 minutes with me to have the better clarity. Okay, चले. Be on the board, please. So as we have already done the part sequences, right? So we have done real sequences already. As people know the method, the methodology which we follow, we always try to go from the basics. It don't like need time. It needs efforts actually. It needs proper understanding of the topic. Fair? So initially you may feel कि यार ये तो आता है करके या बहुत basic हो रहा है. But believe me, that is required. Fair? Like many of you will be surprised even by the definition of series today. I'm pretty sure. Okay. So real sequences we have already done. Clear? Now we are gonna start the chapter infinite series. Okay. Obviously we are working with the real analysis, so we will be concerned always about the real numbers here as well. Chalo. So when you talk about infinite series, my dear fellows, so that is the today's target. Okay. So अभी क्या करेंगे इस सीरीज के लिए अपने को करना है ब्रेनस्टॉर्मिंग कि सर व्हाट एक्चुअली वी नीड टू डू इन दिस चैप्टर. फिर चलिए. So that is today's target. Number first we need here is that is introduction You can keep writing with me. I know you all are intelligent still. So introduction is nothing. A series is a sequence of partial sums. ठीक है? Means series itself is a sequence, but this sequence is a spatial sequence. What is the spatial in that? It is a sequence of partial sums. So we will try to get the idea about partial sums today. Clear? चलिए. So introduction के बाद में we will try to get what are the necessary condition for an infinite series to be convergent. अभी देखेंगे प्यारे बच्चों, if you observe, देखिए ध्यान से, since it is a sequence, right or not, we are interested in convergence, so we will have those definitions here as well, like definition कौन सा वाला? Here we are talking about sequence of partial sums, so it will be denoted by Sn. Okay, so this will be denoted by Sn. So here also we will have the things like type, है ना, limit Sn and test to check convergence. Fair? Thing is, what message I want to convey here for you is कि a series is a spatial sequence. So whatever concepts or fundamentals we have developed during the sequences chapter previously, all those scenarios will be used here as well. Fair? So the most important part which we will be using here, that is Cauchy's general principle of convergence of an infinite series. Fair? After this, we will move on some basic results about series. अब आप पूछेंगे सर यहाँ पे क्या करने वाले हैं? So, like removing or adding finite number of terms in a series. So on adding or removing some finite number of terms in a series, we will be interested in knowing क्या nature of series remains unaltered. So such questions will be of interest for us here. Fair? चलिए. So that is the first block, which will take hardly some 10 to 15 minutes for us, not more than that. Okay. Now, the second block and third block we have here. Okay. Again, I will say brainstorming is the part of systematic learning. मनरेगा मजदूरी तो कितना भी करते रहेंगे, not an issue, है ना? चलिए. So basically we will have two blocks here, positive terms series. Means a series whose all terms are positive. The second block will be series with arbitrary terms. Okay, my dear fellows. सीरीज वैसे आप लिखना चाहें तो लिख भी सकते हैं u1 plus u2 plus un, that is summation un and going from 1 to infinity, that is basically form of a series. ठीक है, where Sn is u1 plus u2 plus un. चलिए, so what happens, we will have two blocks here, and in what we are interested, my dear fellows, we are interested in reading the behavior of an infinite series like convergence. So a series with positive terms is convergent or not. So अपने को क्या चाहिए, we will check if the series is convergent, right? So इसके लिए क्या होगा, we will have some tests. Okay, here we will have two parts. Number first is alternating series, means terms will be plus minus kind of, or here arbitrary terms series. Fair? So अभी अपने को इसका भी कन्वर्जेंस चेक करना है, so इसके लिए भी टेस्ट चाहिए. We need tests for this as well. Fair, dear fellows? आप देखिएगा. Be on the board, please, everyone. So to check the convergence of a positive series, we need some tests. Test क्या? Like comparison test. Comparison test will be of two types, first and second. Fair? After this, we will need Cauchy's root test, nth root basically. After this, we will have D'Alembert's ratio, Ravi's logarithmic, like that. D'Alembert's, Ravi's logarithmic test, integral, Cauchy integral. Okay, and we will have one more test here, Gauss test. Here we will have Leibniz test. Here we will have Abel's test and Dirichlet's test. Okay, dear fellows, आराम से, don't lose the patience, because you know, doing this much brainstorming is only to show you कि भाई this chapter is pretty sorted if you are preparing in a systematic manner. Fair? After this, अपने को interest होगा arbitrary arrangements या grouping of terms. More importantly, that will come up with the absolute convergence of series. So this is the overall picture for you guys. I don't think यहाँ पे दिख रहा होगा. Just oh, set. Just wait a minute, please. I guess it will be okay. Is everything visible? So yes, dear fellows, please write down properly. This is the whole story of this particular chapter in finite series. Priya Patel. Yes, you have to use the calculator because numerical analysis is a topic in the paper 2. You have to. करना ही पड़ेगा. Everyone, is that noted? Who is asking this? रोहन राज. राइटिंग उतनी ही मैटर करती है जितनी समझ में आ जाए, उससे ज्यादा कुछ मैटर नहीं करती. इतनी होनी चाहिए कि पढ़ पाए सामने वाला बस. गॉट इट रोहन? Okay, dear fellows, be on the board, please, everyone. सभी लोग, please be on the board. See, so why I have invested my 20 minutes over this stuff? The reason is pretty much like na. Be on the board. देखिए ध्यान से. Whenever you are preparing for the series, you have to understand कि आपको सीरीज का डेफिनेशन चाहिए. So series is nothing but a sequence of partial sums. Clear? We'll discuss about necessary condition of infinite series to be convergent. क्या होना चाहिए? For that you need. Ultimately, we are interested in the convergence of an infinite series. An infinite series may be of these three forms. Infinite series के all terms are positive. So for positive, we have these tests. So persons who have already studied this chapter, they may have the feeling कि यार सीरीज में तो टेस्ट ही टेस्ट होते हैं, ठीक है, means they just understand series का मतलब this only. Fair? If you observe your PYQs, you will come to know कि sometimes they specifically mention check the convergence of this series, and if you use any theorem or test, give the proof of that. So in that case you may struggle, क्योंकि ये रिजल्ट्स तो आपको याद रहते हैं, but you forgot कि यार how to do those proofs और उन टेस्ट को कैसे देखना है करके. Fair? So I will be doing this chapter in a very systematic manner. I will tell you doing the proof is not a big task here, but it will happen only when you will be able to connect the dots. Fair? And the same thing for these as well. So what I suggest you, next 1 hour we are gonna do all these things in a very beautiful manner, and whatever the learnings obviously we carry from the sequences, those are gonna be used here. कोल्ड में ना हालत खराब हो जाती है. You people will be thinking मैं मजे ले रहा हूँ यहाँ पे, इतना कोहेसिव फोर्स है इंक और बोर्ड के बीच में. It takes time actually. कोल्ड में ऐसा हो जाता है. Okay dears, चल let's start. 1 2 3. अभी थोड़ा थोड़ा लिखेंगे तो रन करने में आसान हो जाता है जल्दी जल्दी. चलिए, so let's start. Definition. किसका definition? Infinite series का. ठीक है? So write down plug please. An infinite series is a spatial sequence. An infinite series is a spatial sequence of partial sums S1, S2, Sn, where S1 is just U1, S2 is the summation of two terms, S3 is the summation of three terms, Sn is a summation of n terms. Fair? It is represented by ध्यान से देखेगा, And please do follow this, because whenever you will be proving the things, these settlements will always come into the picture. It is represented by the sequence Sn, or the summation n going from 1 to infinity un. Fair? So either you write sequence Sn, or you write sequence summation n going from 1 to infinity. That is called an infinite series. Fair? Here u1 plus u2 plus un is nth term of sequence Sn, or un is the nth term of series. So such words will be always popping up here. Then you should be very much clear कि what do they mean. Fair? अभी आप लोग क्या कि थोड़ा थोड़ा जल्दी जल्दी लिखते जाइए, क्योंकि एक साथ में जब लिख देता हूँ ना तो वो मिटाने में बहुत टाइम लगता है। इधर कोल्ड है ना बहुत ज्यादा, तो इंक एकदम से क्वेश्चन उस पे लगता है। लिखिए इसको फटाफट। I hope the message will be pretty clear to all. What does it mean by checking the convergence of a series? देख लीजिए आराम से। So write the heading next. Convergence of an infinite series. देखिए बेसिकली होता क्या है, इफ limit n tends to infinity, Sn is finite value, then we say the series n going from 1 to infinity, un is convergent. Right? I'm in the habit of, you can write the full meaning, convergent. Okay. So this is the literal meaning of this. If you observe that example, देखिएगा, in above example, you know what please? Sn is what? 1 plus 1 plus 1 by 2, 1 plus 1 by n. So this can become n plus 1 plus 1 by 2 plus 1 by 3 plus 1 by n. Fair or not? ध्यान से देखिएगा इस चीज को. You know what please everyone? देखिए ध्यान से. If you observe this Sn, okay, this is some n का function. Now by usual ways to find limit for a function of n, we can cross check whether given series is convergent or not. Again I am saying at this point of time I am like literally have no interest in getting कि इसका limit क्या निकलेगा, but if this limit comes out to be a finite value, I will say the series is convergent. If this limit comes out to be infinite value, we say the series is diverging to infinity. Where it can oscillate between two finite values or there. So there may be three cases for the convergence: convergent, diverging to infinity or minus infinity, or oscillating between some values. So now when you observe this particular chapter, this is one way to get the, but nowhere, believe me, nowhere you will get such direct questions जहां पर आपको only limit calculation से काम चल जाए. It is not like that. What will happen? You need some test to get the simpler process of checking convergence. Okay? क्या है अभी टारगेट मेरा? The next heading is checking the convergence. Write the next heading please. First write this. Is that noted? Is it noted? चलिए. So now we are trying to work over convergence of an infinite series. So convergence of an infinite series में checking the convergence, you have written the heading. After that you can have two components. So लिखेंगे a component as the necessary condition for, ध्यान से देखेंगे इस चीज को, the necessary condition for an infinite series to be convergent. ठीक है? You have the word please everyone. देखिए ध्यान से. Since a series summation n going from 1 to infinity is sequence of partial sums. ध्यान से देखना, sequence है of partial sums and it is represented by Sn, where Sn is u1 plus u2 plus un. ध्यान से देखते रहना. So Sn plus 1 will be what? u1 plus u2 plus un plus 1. Right or not? कोई दिक्कत? This implies Sn plus 1 minus Sn equals to un plus 1 or not? Say yes or no. Everyone, is that clear or not? चलिए, अभी यहाँ पर ध्यान से देखिए. Some people may start like यहाँ 0 से स्टार्ट कर लेते हैं तो यहाँ n-1 तक जाएगा. That is just an representation, not more than that. Anything. Fair? अभी देखिएगा ध्यान से. This implies if I take the limit on both sides, so what will happen? Limit Sn plus 1 that goes to limit n tends to infinity un plus 1. Fair? This implies limit n tends to infinity Sn plus 1 limit n tends to infinity. Be on the board please everyone. Now if, ध्यान से देखना, if the series n going from 1 to infinity un is convergent, then sequence Sn is convergent. Right? This implies sequence का limit exists. Right or not? Let's say L. Yesterday only, in the just previous lecture, I told you if L is the limit of the sequence, then limit xn plus 1, limit xn plus 2000 will also be L. Say yes or no. So, limit n tending to infinity, Sn plus 1 will also be L. So, क्या हो जाएगा? We have L minus L equals limit n tends to infinity un plus 1. Ultimately, this comes out as विश्वास लाइए, क्या लेकर चले थे और क्या रिजल्ट मिला है, is the necessary condition for series. Sometimes they don't write any going from 1 to infinity. That is also a symbol. Infinite series का un is convergent. Check it out, please, everyone. And if you have any doubt, please ask. आराम से एकदम बच्चा लोग की तरह. So that is the first point. If some series wants to be convergent, then limit of the nth term or n plus 1th, whatever you take, limit of the nth term must be 0. Clear? Okay, so A part, what does it mean actually? You see, A part may just continue. For example, let's consider a series summation n going from 1 to infinity as 1 upon n. Fair? Since summation n going from 1 to infinity, un is n going from 1 to infinity 1 upon n, this implies nth term of the sequence is 1 by n. So un plus 1 will be what? Although if you check the limit of this and check the limit of this, both will be behaving the same. Not an issue at all. So don't cry sir, हमारी बुक में इसका लिमिट चेक किया हुआ है. P2 हुआ बेटा, ठीक है. Any of the term you can consider. So limit n tends to infinity, un plus 1 equals limit n tends to infinity 1 upon n plus 1. So that turns out to be what? 1 upon infinity, that is 0. So what happens is, this implies the series summation n going from 1 to infinity 1 upon n may be convergent. क्या बोला? The series may be convergent. So let's say this is the example 1. अभी देखना. Let's say if I take another example, let's take a series summation n going from 1 to infinity n. So un is what? N. Un plus 1 will be what? N plus 1. So limit un plus 1 will be that comes out as infinity. This implies limit n tends to infinity, un plus 1 is non-zero. This implies the series n going from 1 to infinity, n cannot be convergent. May be convergent. So to check or the confirmation, we need to check further. That is the meaning of this article. I hope it will be pretty clear to all. Suppose that if summation a limit of nth term goes to 0, then you need to check further that may be convergent, may not be. If limit is non-zero, we will surely say the series cannot be convergent. That is the meaning. Please write down. Noted? So, like intentionally, I am slow here because you people miss these crucial things. You people think infinite series मतलब सीधा सीधा टेस्ट लगाना शुरू कर देना है. नहीं. You have to clear your basics first. Okay, yes. So write the next component. B part is Cauchy's general principle. Cauchy's general principle of convergence of an infinite series. ठीक है? चलिए, be on the board please. Just for 2 minutes ना. You will get the beauty actually here. देखिए ध्यान से. Let's consider an infinite series summation n going from 1 to infinity un. So that is क्या मिलेगा बेसिकली अपने को Sn equals u1 plus u2 plus un. What I told you about series? Series is nothing but a sequence of partial sums. And what sequence? Sequence Sn, where the nth term of the sequence is given like this. Fair or not? Is the nth term of sequence of partial sums Sn, which is nothing but n going from 1 to infinity un. Right? So So once we have the sequence, ध्यान से देखिएगा, since for sequence we know the Cauchy's principle, right or not? In the previous class only we have learned this. So for a sequence, what is the Cauchy's principle? बोलिए. Sequence Sn is a Cauchy sequence if for every epsilon greater than 0 there exists a finite positive integer m such that, किस that का? Such that modulus of Sn plus p minus modulus of Sn is less than epsilon for n greater or equal to m, comma p greater or equal to 1. Say yes or no. Yesterday we had the beautiful discussion over the Cauchy's sequences, right? चलिए अभी देखिएगा ध्यान से. So by the sequence part we have this much understanding, but the above scenario shows the sequence of partial sums. So if you write here Sn plus p, it will be what? u1 plus u2 plus un plus un plus 1 plus un plus 2 कहाँ तक जाएगा? un plus p तक, right or not? चलिए. Now if I write for Sn, so this is nothing but u1 plus u2 plus un. This should be less than epsilon. किसके लिए? For n greater or equal to m and p greater or equal to 1, right or not? This implies modulus of u1 plus u2 plus un is cancelled out with these terms, so you got things like un plus 1 plus un plus 2 plus un plus p is less than epsilon for n greater or equal to m, comma p greater or equal to 1. Check it out please. So initially when I first time studied Cauchy's general principle for series, believe me, I was blank. क्या बकवास है ये? But when I started learning from the definitions, the maths becomes the most beautiful part of my life. And so I suggest you always be systematic. टाइम नहीं लगता है इन सब चीजों में, लेकिन एक बार इन्वेस्ट करने के लिए वो हिम्मत चाहिए. ठीक है. अब आप देखिए कितना क्रिस्टल क्लियर दिख रहा है. सीरीज का मतलब सीक्वेंस ऑफ पार्शियल सम्स. सो दिस सीरीज इज अ सीक्वेंस ऑफ पार्शियल सम्स. कौन सा सीक्वेंस? जिसका nth टर्म इज गिवन लाइक दिस. फॉर सीक्वेंसेस वी नो व्हाट इज द Cauchy's प्रिंसिपल. सो फॉर सीक्वेंसेस वी हैव दिस, राइट? So if I want कि this series is a Cauchy sequence or the convergent, then for this series to be Cauchy sequence, this thing should hold, because this is the interpretation we got from here. Khatam baat. Now you will read the same book which you studied at the undergraduate level and please cross verify कि कितना beautifully लिखा था, बस हमें समझाने वाला सही से नहीं हुआ करके. We didn't get the things properly. So is that clear to all? What is the Cauchy's general principle for infinite series? This is the Cauchy's general principle for infinite series. So write this as an exam point. In short, I have written that for you. So please do remember this, because while doing the proofs and all in this infinite series, this is the very crucial instrument for you. I am saying very crucial instrument. इस पूरे पार्ट को ही आप एग्जाम पॉइंट करके बॉक्स में बंद कर लीजिए प्लीज. प्लीज इसको पूरे को बॉक्स में बंद कर लीजिए. वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट. अरे हु इज दिस स्टूडेंट? जस्ट वेट अ मिनट. ये ग्रुप में ये इंटीग्रल किसने पूछा हुआ है? The telegram name is something Trupti or what something. Who has asked this integral? Dear student, what you understand actually? What do you think? I'm mad? यार आपने ग्रुप में मैसेज किया, फिर मेरे को पर्सनल मैसेज कर रहे हो बार बार, फिर मैंने कहा उसमें समझ नहीं आ रहा राइट अप आपने क्या लिखा है, फिर उसके बाद जबरदस्ती मैसेज किए जा रहे हो सर प्लीज रिप्लाई, सर प्लीज रिप्लाई. यार मतलब मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ इधर? स्टेशन पे बैठा हूँ फालतू में क्या? मतलब लिटरली यू पीपल आर आउट ऑफ द थिंग्स यार. You have sent message. I have seen the message. Whenever I will be free, I will be replying. मतलब आपको जबरदस्ती जब जल्दी जल्दी रिप्लाई कर देते इसका मतलब कि सर हमेशा फ्री बैठे हैं. अब तो मैं डेफिनेटली रिप्लाई नहीं करूंगा बिल्कुल भी इस चीज पे. एक भी बच्चे ने अगर एक बार डाउट भेजने के बाद दोबारा पिन किया मुझे, तो समझ लीजिए आई विल नेवर रिप्लाई ओवर दैट. एज सिंपल एज पॉसिबल. क्या यार तुम लोग तमाशा, इतना मतलब मेच्योर नहीं हो यूपीएससी की तैयारी कर रहा है. मेरे जैसा टीचर जो हर टाइम एक्टिव रहता है भाई तुम्हारे लिए बेवकूफ समझ के रखा हुआ है. Is that noted? भाई भेज दिया एक बार मैसेज, टाइम होगा मैं रिप्लाई खुद ही करता हूं भाई. Is that noted? Is that noted everyone? Please understand my. You on the board, please. देखिए ध्यान से. So till now we have done the introduction part. We have felt what is actually a series. A series is nothing but a sequence only, but a spatial sequence. Once you landed up with the sequence, you are always worried about convergence of sequence. Means we are worried about convergence of an infinite series as well. Fair. So convergence of an infinite series means what? That we are trying to do here. So for convergence of an infinite series, we need to learn 2 points. Number one is what is the necessary condition for the convergence of an infinite series. Number two is what is the Cauchy's general principle for convergence of an infinite series. What I suggest you, my dear fellows, never ever compromise with the definitions. You will feel the algebra, you will feel the analysis, my dear fellows. So अगर आपने sequences के लिए Cauchy's general principle, if you are comfortable, the same thing is replicated over the series as well. Sequence में we always using the term xn. So xn की जगह here we have sn just for the representation sums, partial sums. Fair? So the thing is when you write sequence, a modulus of xn plus p minus xn, here it will be sn plus p minus sn. Sn plus p will be what? For that only I am focusing on the definition. So Sn is u1 plus u2 plus un. So Sn plus p will be u1 plus u2 plus un plus un plus 1 up to un plus p. Ultimately, you will land up with a series summation n going from 1 to infinity. Un is a Cauchy, is following the Cauchy principle if for every given epsilon greater than 0, there exists some positive integer m such that modulus of un plus 1 plus un plus 2 up to un plus p less than epsilon for n greater or equal to m and p greater or equal to 1. Why we have taken here p greater or equal to 1? All this story we had discussed in the previous lecture when I taught you what is the basic meaning of Cauchy's principle or Cauchy sequence. Right, dear fellows? Cauchy's means after some certain terms, the distance between terms of the sequence becomes closer and closer. That is the literal meaning of that. Fair? So if you feel these things are tough, dear fellows, your prepared way may be wrong, but here you can feel एक एक सीक्वेंस को कितना कनेक्टिविटी के साथ आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक यू फील. यू गेटिंग माय पॉइंट? तो आपसे भी मेरा यही उम्मीद रहेगा कि यू विल प्रिपेयर लाइक दिस ओनली. पहले आपने क्या टेस्ट, कितना टेस्ट रट्टा मारा, कितना बोला, आई डोंट केयर फॉर दैट. आई जस्ट वांट यू टू मेक फील द थिंग्स, है ना. चलिए, बी ऑन द बोर्ड प्लीज एवरीवन. Cauchy principle हो गया. Do remember whatever the proofs of this chapter ना infinite series जिनके आपने सारे रट्टा मार रखे हैं टेस्ट को, all proofs are just on your tip if you are comfortable with these phenomena what we have discussed till now. Fair? One more term I had told you there. Write the heading please. Some preliminary results. Be on the board please everyone. देखिए ध्यान से. Some preliminary results. Be on the board please. If we add or remove some finite number of terms, underline कीजिए, and each term, each point will have their meaning in the further development of the theory here. If we add or remove some finite number of terms in an infinite series, then nature of the series remains unaltered. What does it mean actually? ध्यान से देखिएगा, beyond the word please. Let's consider a series summation n going from 1 to infinity un, ठीक है? Let's say this is convergent. Okay, so convergent means what? Tell me. Limit n tends to infinity, Sn is a finite number. Where Sn is what? Where Sn is u1 plus u2 plus un. Right or not? So limit n tends to infinity, Sn is a finite number. Now, let's construct or consider another series summation n going from 1 to infinity wn, where wn is un plus some alpha 1 plus alpha 2, let's say alpha k, where k is a finite number. ठीक है? What we had done? We have added. इसका मतलब क्या हुआ? That is, we have added k terms in the series summation un to get summation wn. Now, देखिएगा ध्यान से. Now, limit n tends to infinity, w1 plus w2 plus wn plus alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus alpha k. Since this is a finite value, say yes or no. So w1 plus w2 w1 plus w2. अच्छा this can be written as limit n tends to infinity u1 plus u2 plus un plus alpha 1 plus alpha 2 plus alpha k. So this is, you have said, finite value. This is finite value. कहां से? From 1, let's say. So finite value plus finite value. So this is finite value. Why? Because of this. So meaning क्या हुआ? What does this mean? This is a finite value, so convergent means the series wn is also convergent if series wn is found by adding. अब यहाँ पे कुछ subtract कर दीजिए finite, तो भी तो ये finite value ही रहेगा. So that is the literal meaning of this thing. This has a huge importance in further study. For the time being, it may look like very simpler, very trivial, but believe me, when it will come on the results, it will do the wonders. Please note down. आराम से लिखिए. Note down this as well. With the same explanation, you can go here. Same explanation you can reflect here. Is everything visible now? Is this noted? Okay, yes. So this was the introduction part. Now we will move for those blocks. Comparison test and all. मतलब नहीं वो series के बारे में बात करना है करके. These are some preliminaries, basic things which you must know. You might be unaware, I don't know. But yes, I have tried my best to make you feel the infinite series should be started from what? Okay, yes. चलिए अब हम लोग आगे बढ़ते हैं. With this much basic, now we are at the level to get the things as crystal clear for the application part. Yeah. So let's start. The block 1, that is positive terms series. So 60% of the efforts will be going here, rest of the things for others. Is it visible everything? चलिए. So positive term series ki whenever you talk the things like this, so ultimately what it happens, we have the series like u1 plus u2 plus un, where u1 u2 un all are positive terms. Okay dear fellows, for example, you may have the series like n going from 1 to infinity, 1 upon n, that is 1 upon 1, 1 upon 1 plus 1 upon 2 plus 1 upon 3 and so on. That is a positive term series. 1 upon n square we may have 1 plus 1 upon 2 square plus 1 upon 3 square and so on, right? We may have a series n going from 1 to infinity, 1 upon under root n, so 1 plus 1 upon root 2 plus 1 upon root 3, 1 upon root 10, like this. Fair? किसी को कोई दिक्कत यहाँ तक? I hope. Be on the board please everyone. So we may have series like this. Those are series which are called under the term that is positive terms series. We already knew, देखिए ध्यान से, we already knew कि what the necessary condition for convergence of a series is limit n tends to infinity, un or un plus 1 must be 0, right? लिख लेंगे प्लीज. So, although I have taken the examples like general form, but those are not general. Those are some standard series which we use frequently. Like this is a geometric series. This particular series of the form 1 upon n ka power p, this is known as comparison series here, because we will explore the nature of this series, for what values of p this is convergent, and further checking the convergence of other series, I will use this as the sub base stuff. So this series will be used for in the whole this scenario. So we call that as a comparison series, 1 upon n ka power p. Similarly geometric series we have here. लिख देंगे इसको. कंपैरिजन सीरीज के बारे में अगर बात करनी होगी तो उसके लिए डिटेल्स में बात कर सकते हैं. प्लीज नोट डाउन दैट. Please keep writing with me now. Things are pretty clear. Okay, dear fellows. So knowingly I was silent. I was trying to write each and every step here very clearly. It is not about कि वो मुझे याद है या आपको रटना है करके. It is nothing like that. The message I wanted to convey here, the whole crux of this chapter lies in these words. Please listen. Things are not tough, but if you have not gone through the process clearly, then things will never click like कि हाँ जैसे ODE में फॉर्मूला पता है थोड़ा सा इधर उधर करके आगे बढ़ गए. It is not like that. So what I suggest you, be a curious student. At least 1 to 2 times you have to go through the process. Then you will absorb that process, you will revise that process, and you will retain that for your exam hall. I am not saying कि comparison series का proof they are gonna ask, but I am saying if you are just practicing these things like a question solving, your mind will be developed, your attitude will be developed कि यार theoretically कैसे हमको proceed किया जाता है, how we can think to proceed. So that was the message to convey here. So for example, when p is greater than 1, some finite value 1, 2, 3, like 2, 3, 4, 5 any value, then this series is convergent. What, dear fellows? And this we want to prove here. So how to prove that? Summation 1 upon n ka power p when p is greater than 1 is convergent. For that they have applied this logic where they have taken some terms, they have replaced by denominator ko agar if you decrease the denominator, the whole value will be increased. So the simple logics they have applied here, but again I will say those cannot click if you haven't done this twice. I am very much practical in my nature. Okay. After that, end of the day, if you revise this 2-3 times, then okay, fair. कि इस वाले केस को कैसे डील करना है करके. So ultimately, we got the thing is कि this summation of partial sums which you are getting like this. So for any finite number p, this value will be finite. This value will be finite for any finite p. So if this value is finite, then limit n tends to infinity. The sequence of partial sums के लिए Sn, that is a finite number that basically talks like this series is convergent. Please note down. बाकी इसका बुकलेट अभी तैयार नहीं है. मलिक अरोड़ा का चैप्टर यू कैन फॉलो हियर फॉर द टाइम बीइंग, and all these things are given in the Malik Arora book itself or whatever book you have. So I suggest here I am just trying to make you feel the process. The rest will depend on your practice. So these are the exam points for you. Okay. Do remember the comparison series is convergent for p greater than 1 and it is divergent for this less or equal to 1. Convergent series, as a result we will be using further this comparison series. I'm sorry. Is that noted? Okay, dears. So I suggest you to remember these 2 points, and whenever you have time, please go through these processes. You will be clear about the things. Okay, dears. So what we have done is the very first part of the infinite series consists of these basic things which I have tried to done today. Tomorrow's section will be just the numerical kind of, like doing those tests. Clear? तो उन टेस्ट को करने के लिए क्या होता है, like we will be trying to feel the process through the definition of those tests, simple example test kind of stuff. So I guess tomorrow we will finish the infinite series. Fair? So yes, that's enough for the day. We'll meet by tomorrow. Good luck. बाकी यार I request everyone, आई डोंट नो अभी तक हमारी बॉन्डिंग कैसी है, कुछ नए स्टूडेंट्स को शायद पता नहीं होता है यार, मेरे जैसा टीचर मतलब मैं ऐसा नहीं कह रहा हूँ कि आई एम लाइक गॉड, जस्ट लाइक ह्यूमन बीइंग लाइक यू। आप जब एक बार मैसेज कर देते हैं ना, मैंने कितनी बार बोला, स्टूडेंट्स के मैसेजेस कभी भी स्टाफ चेक नहीं करता, आई माई सेल्फ डू इट, क्लियर इंस्ट्रक्शन। तो अगर रिप्लाई नहीं आता है तो थोड़ा वेट कर लिया करिए कि टीचर करेगा, डेफिनेटली करेगा, ठीक है? इट इज माई हम्बल रिक्वेस्ट टू यू ऑल। चलिए, गुड लक। बाकी क्योंकि मेरा अपना एक्सपीरियंस ये कहता है ना, मान लो आपने कोई इंटीग्रेशन में फंसे हुए, क्या कल आपका एग्जाम है यूपीएससी का? नहीं। बट कई बार क्या होता है ना, लोगों का साइकोलॉजिकल प्रॉब्लम होता है, अभी पता चल जाए, अभी पता चल जाए, 2 मिनट में चल जाए, ताकि मैं शांत हो जाऊं बस, बाकी भाड़ में जाए सामने वाला, उसका क्या काम होगा, कहाँ बिजी होगा, पता नहीं, राइट? तो देखो यार, चलो बाय, गुड नाइट। सो कल हम टेस्ट स्टार्ट कर लेंगे, कल लैब स्टार्ट करेंगे हम लोग, है ना? सारे टेस्ट करेंगे अल्फा बीटा गामा। ओके डियर्स, एनी डाउट? Okay, good night everyone. Take care. Keep learning, keep smiling. Okay, Navin. Fair. Bye. 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 Good night everyone. कौशल बन जरे, समझ आ रहा है कौशल? ऑल गुड, कोई दिक्कत? ओके शुभम, ओके, गुड नाइट अमित। अच्छा कौशल बन कूल कूल कूल। ठीक है, कीप लर्निंग। सोशियो इकोनॉमिक एक्सप्लेन कर दीजिए, शुभम जॉब है। अभी मैथ्स के बाद मैं उधर में एचआरडी का क्लास ले लूंगा करके, है ना? सोशियो इकोनॉमिक क्या एक्सप्लेन करना है इसके अंदर भाई शुभम? हाँ, आज के इस गला घोटू दुनिया में सोशियो कुछ नहीं रह गया है, सब इकोनॉमिक इकोनॉमिक है। समझे शुभम चौबे? अगर ऐसा नहीं होता तो न्यूजीलैंड सबसे बड़ी ताकत होता, डेनमार्क फिनलैंड ये सबसे बड़ी ताकत होती है ना। एनीवेज, जोक अपार्ट। ठीक है शुभम, बाकी सोशियो इकोनॉमिक मुझे नहीं लग रहा कि इसमें कुछ ऐसा, मतलब मैं कोई फिलोसफी का टीचर हूँ नहीं कि बहुत बड़ा कोई डेफिनेशन बता दूंगा। हाँ, अगर आपको पर्सनल कोई डाउट है तो आप कल एक बार बात कर लेना, मुझे अपने आंसर्स वगैरह दिखा देना जो भी आपको चाहिए होगा। ठीक है, तो क्रॉस चेक। चलो बाय। बाय बाय एवरीवन, गुड नाइट, लव यू, कीप स्माइलिंग, गुड नाइट।